Howdy folks. In this video I'm going to talk all about adverse yaw. Now for the first 6 months of my radio controlled flying I had no problems with, or I wasn't even aware of adverse yaw, and I don't think I used a rudder at all. And the reason was the planes I was flying were properly designed and they had an effective rudder or vertical stabiliser. They were the Photon and Axon from Experimental Airlines and the Hobby King Bixler. They're all really nicely designed planes that work properly. Now the first time I came across adverse yaw was when I designed a single boom pusher 4-channel with ailerons. Here's a picture of it, and here's a demo of the adverse yaw that this plane exhibited. Now watch the plane through this left-hand turn. Did you see how the nose was pointing out towards the right? I'll freeze it here. So we bank to the left, but the nose initially ends up pointing out to the right. And to bring it around, I have to use more rudder, more elevator, and even more power to keep the nose up. Here it is slowed right down. See that nose pointing right out to the right, almost like it does a big S-bend. So what's the cause of this adverse yaw? Well, it's all to do with the ailerons. And planes that don't have ailerons, like this 3-channel single boom pusher, have no problems with adverse yaw. Now the easy answer is that on one wing the aileron goes down, on the other wing the aileron goes up. On the wing that the aileron goes down, that produces more lift, and whenever there's more lift you get more drag. So the upward rotating wing feels more drag than the downward rotating wing. Now there's a few reasons why that happens, and it's not important, you don't have to remember these. They're a bit technical, but the downward aileron presents more frontal area to the airflow, so produces more form drag, as it's called. It also gives more curve or more camber to the wing, which is its job, which produces more lift. More lift equals more drag, so more drag on the wing with the aileron going down. And there's a third effect due to the actual rotation itself of the wing, and that rotation movement alters the angle of airflow onto the wing. So the upward rotating wing, the airflow is angled up a little bit, the lift is angled back a little bit, and it's the opposite for the downward rotating wing. The lift ends up being angled forward a little bit. So lift angled back, lift angled forward gives another little force adding to the adverse yaw. But in simple terms, the downward rotating aileron produces more drag on that wing, which turns the plane away from the turn. So how do we overcome it? Well, we need an effective vertical stabiliser. It needs to be big enough or far enough away from the centre of gravity to counteract those tendencies to turn away from the roll. Number one. Number two, you can make the downward going aileron move less than the upward going aileron, and that's called Aileron Differential. And you can do that either by programming it into your radio or by moving the control horn back away from the hinge if it's bottom mounted, as we showed in an earlier video. And you can also use rudder mixing with the aileron. You mix a little bit of the rudder with the aileron so they're working together all the time, and that's very effective at counteracting the adverse yaw. Now the problems with my single boom pusher 4-channel with ailerons, and more recently the Volantex Mini Ranger, both had terrible adverse yaw, was that they both had a high flat wing with ailerons, a big chunky fuselage, and a small rudder sitting down in the turbulent air behind the fuselage. So the rudder on those two planes is ineffective. On a well-designed plane, you barely need to touch the rudder at all. Just a little bit of aileron, a little bit of elevator, and it'll carve around a turn nicely. On a plane with adverse yaw, it won't be so easy. You'll have to use aileron, elevator, rudder, and power to make a nice turn. And it's just a lot harder to fly a plane like that. If you're lazy like me, you just want to be able to relax and fly the plane with one hand basically. So there you go. Hope that made sense, and I'll see you later.